Hi everyone, my name is Margaux and welcome back to Media Women Worldwide. This episode is a little bit different because I'm coming to you from the collaborator of this video, the Raynham channel. The Raynham channel is a public access television station in Southeast Massachusetts. It provides local and regional television programming out of a historical building in Raynham, Massachusetts. Several years ago, the Raynham channel traveled to Martha's Vineyard and was able to experience its artistic community and tourism. In 2019, the Martha's Vineyard Film Center hosted their first annual Women in Film Festival, and I was lucky enough to attend. Hopping on the ferry to Martha's Vineyard, the first thing you notice is the beauty of where you're headed. Even though the Women in Film Festival is in October, which is considered the tail end of the summer season, the island is still buzzing with creative energy. Located in Vineyard Haven, right off of the ferry, the Martha's Vineyard Film Center is a hub of that creativity. Greeting patrons with art on the walls and a comfortable environment, the Film Center elevates the normal movie-going experience. The vibrant purple screening room is the perfect space to celebrate the accomplishments of women in film, with films, discussions, and presentations to fill out the program.
It's all great to have you here. You know, this is our weekend of women in film, films by women, whether directing, writing, or producing, or doing all the above. The next several days, we have some great films. They're all on our website, of course. They're on our programs. A lot of you know about them. So I hope that you'll join us for a few more of these films directed and produced by women. It's very important to support women in the film arts because they're so underrepresented. Only 7% of films produced or made are directed by women. Only 7%. It's an outrageously low number. And if you go to some of the other craft areas like cinematography, it's even lower. I mean, it's just minuscule. So there are a lot of film festivals around the country now that are emerging to support women in film and the film arts, so we're just doing our little part in a little way here in Martha's Vineyard. And speaking of women, I want to give a shout out to Minah Worley, who's over here to the right, and she is on our staff, Associate Director here at the Film Society, and also was the lead person on curating the films for the festival. She does a lot of other amazing things, and she worked with a couple of our board members who are also women, and to put this program together. And we hope that this will grow into something much larger.
When I first started back in February, Richard Paradise wanted to fulfill another part of the mission for the Film Society, and that was really making sure that we brought awareness and exposure of feature films for women. We show films and programming continuously throughout the year. We're the only year-round film society on island. But what makes a film festival different is the educational outreach component of it. And it's really important that film festivals bring discussions and questions and challenge points of view and status quos, and being able to not only provide our community with amazing films, but getting them the opportunity to interact with people who make these poignant films is really important. It's an enriching process that I'm very passionate about. We do get to see some feature films out there in commercial theaters with women directors like Wonder Woman. It's very small, but we get exposure. But we don't get exposure to independent filmmakers that are females. And from there, I really wanted to target feature films that are mostly in the festival circuit. Because oftentimes, if they don't get a distributor and still win incredible accolades and awards, that most people don't get to see these amazing, fantastic films. And the curation of it all came from trying to be as diverse in our selections as possible, making sure that, comedy and horror are still part of a documentary and dramatic narrative lineup. having Alecia, who is the president of New England Women in Film, come and speak to our community is really important, because she really understands, especially in New England, what currently women filmmakers or women who are in the film industry are struggling with, and how it directly affects the vertical in our area, in our community. It's not equal or perfect yet, but together, through people like her and her organization and film festivals like the Vineyard Film Society, we're trying to provide an opportunity for exposure.
When this popped up, I wrote to them immediately and said, hey, I happen to be in your backyard and I'm the president. I would love to support what you're doing with the festival, because anytime that a venue like the Martha's Vineyard Film Society can showcase the work that is being done by women, I mean, I'm there. I want to support that. So I'm super excited that we're here, that they're showing some amazing films, and that I get to talk to the people who are coming to see them.
So what are we hoping for? We're hoping that more people are going to put their butts in seats or going to click on their Netflix and Amazon for women-made films, or films that are telling intricate stories about women, because representation matters.
Right. Actually, here at the Film Center, it's about 62-63% women.
I love that.
That come on an annual basis.
You are above the curve.
We are definitely a women-centric audience
I love
here at the Film Center.
So some of the highlights we're going to talk about is the Bechdel-Wallace test. And if you haven't, if you don't know what that is, it basically states that in a film, to be a film to pass the Bechdel-Wallace test means that two women, named women, which is a caveat, two named women have to talk to each other about something other than a man. Which seems silly, right? We're in a day and age where, of course, women are in all facets of life. And so that would seem obvious, but representation matters, and we're not seeing that represented. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, what the statistics are with the top 100 grossing films, and what the status of women is behind the scenes, and a little bit about what we're seeing in front of the camera. And with the movie that I'm talking around tonight, Sensitivity Training, it's a great example of it. Because not only is it passing the Bechdel-Wallace test, it's a comedy, it's awesome, but it's also showing women in science. And that's so cool too. Women in an industry, and again, I'm hitting out on this a lot in a lot of my talks recently, that representation matters. Seeing it perpetuates more of it. So that's really what's important, and I'm really excited to talk about that tonight. So what I'm hoping people will take away from coming to a festival like this and to seeing a film like this is how important it is for you to vote with your dollar. The mighty dollar matters. And when we support festivals and films that are directed by women, that star women in this Bechdel-Wallace test way, that's very powerful. And it needs to happen more. It's like, there are so many choices where you can get your media from today, right? We should be going on Amazon and looking at the filmmakers there, and Netflix. Who are the women that are making great films and telling great stories? And really voting with your dollar and using it. And what does that do? That perpetuates the narrative that we are all on board with, which is parody. I would love to say that we're going to get to parody within my lifetime. That's my hope. But the only way to do that is for an audience to show up for these stories. And really hopeful tonight that people will be inspired to do more of that. They're already in the room tonight. Next time, I want them to come again and bring a friend. And then do it outside of this festival, Do it at the box office. Do it at home when you're clicking through.
Martha's Vineyard is an island, so we're naturally isolated. Kind of like everywhere in the world, experiencing culture is expensive. And we don't have major Hollywood theater chains on island. And it's not just a drive away. We have to take a ferry and a boat, and it's quite expensive. And I'm really passionate about niche films with a huge cultural following to a place where it's kind of remote in many ways.
So what do? We support women storytellers. whatever that may be.
For more information for the Women in Film Festival brought to you by the Margaux Vineyard Film Society, please visit www.mvfilmsociety.org and come visit us here on Martha's Vineyard.
I'm Alecia Orsini, and I support women in media.
For more information about the festival or any of the organizations that I mentioned in this video, please take a look at the links down in the description box, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Another big thanks to the Raynham channel. Thank you so much for collaborating with me on this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll see my next one.